Chandler, go ahead.
All right, hey guys, glad you guys are have made it here in the webinar. Hopefully, you guys will find some value in this. First of all, that you can be a part of a group that we can offer a webinar such as this free of charge. And this is not, how can I say this? Obviously this is coming through a social group. So, but this is strictly business, informational, something that can, if this fits you, something that can really improve your daily functions with your service business. And that was the whole reason why we brought this up. A lot of people will ask me, you know, how do you keep your schedule full? What are your sources of your business? And online booking is one of the top 3 sources of keeping my schedule booked out at least 2 weeks all year long. So, and you can do it. I mean, any of the other guys can do it, or gals can do it. So I wanted to, Steve has been in the group for a while now, so he kind of get the gist of what Cleaners Connect is about. And this online service that I have is very, very powerful. And so you can design it to your business, how you function and where you want to work, how you want to work, how long you want to work, and the type of customers you want to attract. And I know there's somebody in this group that's going to benefit from this. So as I tell new cleaners, you got to be able to set up how you look to a customer, and also what you offer that customer. So if they go to your website, you want to be able to track that customer in many different ways. And there's a growing number, as you guys already know, of people who will want to communicate with you without making that phone call. And this is one of the ways to do it. And so I'm gonna turn it over to Steve. But guys, I really, part of my year of the 2020 of giving, that I want to give out things here and there throughout the year to whoever's out there that can benefit from this, and other things that we'll be doing. But I definitely wanted to share this part of my business. It can be seen as simple, but it's very, 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 very powerful. So Steve, I turn this over to Steve, and we'll be interacting with you guys throughout this webinar. So thanks for coming, and I hope this will add some value to your daily lives and your business. Steve?
Thanks, Chandler. Chandler and I have had a great relationship ever since we met and he became a client. I respect him as a business person because he's smart in the way he does things. So he's a pretty good leader for this group. I'm very impressed how many people join the group. So first thing you need to know is this is me. I'm Steve. I'm in a suburb of Chicago. So you do not have to stare at me. If you hover over the image of me and where it says Chandler, you can minimize both of us and kind of move us out wherever you want. But welcome and happy Martin Luther King Day, by the way. I am the owner and creator of FittleBug. FittleBug is a non-existent thing. It was created by my 8-year-old son. Because he thought it was fun to say. And I said, what is it? He goes, I don't know. So I said, well, if I can make it famous, can I have it? And he gave it to me. So now we call it FittleBug. But anyway, happy Martin Luther King Day. What is FittleBug? It's a real-time booking tool. And what makes it different than other scheduling tools on the marketplace today is what I'm going to kind of share some of the functionality with you. Now, I've got a slide presentation of about 20 slides, but I'm going to whip through these because really what I want to do is get into a live demonstration of a FittleBug instance and let you see sort of behind the curtain, if you will, in the Wizard of Oz, what the wizard's doing and how you can put your own FittleBug together with the own, the way you want it to look, with your business rules and so forth. So let's first look at do we even need such a thing called FittleBug? So let's look at what studies have said about the need for such online tools. And I kind of found this picture down here. Customer service isn't rocket science, but it is sociology. And that's kind of true, because if you can give your marketplace what they want, when they want it, how they want it, they will remember you. And here's some examples. Uber totally disrupted the taxi business. YouTube, obviously, E-Trade, the first to offer trading, and then Google. Google's not a brilliantly gorgeous site to go to, but it's empowering with the information you can get from it. So I always like to say that branding is the ability to get people to remember you. As it relates to the internet, branding is the ability to empower someone's life today better than they had yesterday. And if they can go, wow, that was easy, or wow, that was empowering or knowledgeable, they are going to remember what you are. And if that's the case, you can literally start a search engine. Does anybody know what that is, by the way? And Chandler, let me know if they chat. Does anybody know what the logo DP is? Are we getting anywhere, Chandler? No, with nothing?
No.
All right, I'll tell them. It stands for dog pile. So literally, there's a search engine that people like, and it's called Dogpile. Now, again, you can call it you can call things wherever you want. Yahoo, Google, Dogpile, FittleBug, because it's the branding of the empowerment that consumers remember. So it really doesn't matter what you call yourself, as long as it gives them what they want, when they want it, and how they want it. All right. I recently picked up a client, I don't know, gosh, half a year ago or something like that. And he was recently named I don't even remember the name of it, but out at a trade show in Vegas, he was honored with the most prestigious or outstanding carpet cleaning professional of all of them. And his name was Sean Basilian. If you've ever gone to John Don, Sean is the guy that teaches you all about carpet cleaning. And Sean became a client of mine, and just like everybody else, he said, I'm curious if my clients want it, and would like it or need it. So he literally posted a Facebook post, and I kind of broke it out so you could see it better. So the question was, he literally said, we are working on an option for offering our clients to do their own online scheduling. Yay or nay? Would you like this as an option? And these were the first 5, so I just cut it off there. Yeah, personally, I'd love the ability to see availability and schedule without ever having to get on the phone. It sounds fantastic as an option. Second one, would love online scheduling. Third one, yes, it's 2019. If I have to call to get an appointment, I'm much less likely to do so. I use online scheduling for almost everything now. Yes, I prefer online scheduling. Yes, I would use it. Absolutely. Whoops. Not to mention, we still keep, and then Sean jumped in. He said, not to mention, we'll still keep the phone lines, of course, but just in case you want to speak to someone. So perhaps the scheduling and water damage and so forth. Yes. Bottom line was, all of the responses when he tested his marketplace said, yeah, what are you waiting for? So they're asking for it out there in his marketplace and others. And we know that because there have been other studies done. There's a source called Gartner Research, Gartner.com. They have a division called GetApp. It's part of their, they have a lab within the Gartner brand name. And what they do is concentrate on internet marketing and internet statistics. And these are just some that I wanted to share with you. They asked, gosh, it's maybe a year or two ago, this question to a bunch of people regarding service providers. Now, candidly, it's not just carpet cleaners or air duct cleaners or whatever, but they asked this question, how do you usually book appointments with service providers? And at that time, 50% of it was phone. 41.4% was online, a little bit of person, email, text, and so forth. So 50% at that time, 2 years ago, said, yeah, I'd call up on the phone. So then they asked the question, what's your preferred way to book appointments with service providers? Assuming all the options are available. All of a sudden, the 40-some% jumped to 69.8. And the phone went down. So they said, what did we do? 50. What would we like? Almost 70 in the online option. Then they asked, if you were evaluating a new service provider, How likely would you be to select one that allows you to book online versus one that doesn't? So this is what I found most interesting. Much more likely to choose that person if I didn't know them and I did a Google aggregating search engine or Yelp or whatever. But if they offer an online booking appointment online tool, 31.8% much more likely, 62.1% somewhat more likely. So think about it. They're somewhat or much more likely to book you online 93.9% out of 100. And that's what caught me. So they're somewhat more likely or very much more likely interested in those that are offering a booking tool. And so that's what I was pointing out here, the percentage of people that are much more likely. Now, what is booking? I like to use the term booking, not scheduling, because you don't go schedule an airline ticket, you book it. So what's the difference? When you book an airline ticket, it's done. You go online, you put in all your information, you see when it leaves, when it stops, when it, how much it is, and, you know, down to the minute. And you have booked that airline ticket. As opposed to scheduling, which unfortunately in today's world, there are lots of scheduling tools that are basically blocks of time. And you know what? That fits a lot of things. Chiropractors probably allocate half hour or an hour time. Hairstylists do that. But in certain trades, it's very difficult to pinpoint how long things might take. So I decided to put this, are you a blockhead when it comes to online booking? And I said, it's okay, admitting it's the first step to recovery. But what is a blockhead? A blockhead is somebody that offers them blocks of time to choose. So if we kind of look at this and say, if the actual minutes to complete the job, let's just say were 60 minutes. Somebody booked you, you went out, did the job for 60 minutes, and you work an 8-hour day. And let's say the minutes given for the blocked windows are 2 hours. So you worked half of the 2-hour block. The remaining half is lost online opportunity. Now, over the course of the day, that's 4 hours of lost online booking hours if every job was 60 minutes. And if you try to get an estimated $125 an hour gross, that equals $500 of potential economic online loss that day. If you work Monday through Saturday, that equates to $11,000 of per month online booking economic loss because of the blocks. And over the course of the year, you're giving up the ability for somebody to fill those gaps to the tune of about $132,000. Now, it's not an exact science, guys. This, of course, doesn't consider they could pick up the phone and call in. But as you saw, 93% of the time, they're very much likely or more likely to choose somebody that had an online tool. So regular blocks of time actually don't schedule anything. All it does is the ones that are out there, and you know, I'm never going to speak badly of software, but they're called web forms. And all it is fill in the information, send it to me, and I'll get back to you. Well, isn't that the reason people go online? To finish things, not to continue them? They could have picked up the phone. They could have wasted your, you know, forced you to answer the call or have you pay somebody to answer that call when they're very capable of doing it themselves. So this is just an example, you know, choose your times, choose your dollar amounts, but it's a significant amount of money that you're giving up where somebody could be booking you online if you were choosing more of a down to the minute approach. And that's what I'm going to show you with FittleBug. We offer blocks. I have clients that do blocks of time, and I tell them, you're giving up all kinds of opportunity, but that's the way they want it. The most effective way is to do it down to the minute. This service takes 22 minutes. This service takes 5. This service takes 2. This service takes 3.5 hours, and allocate every line item with a timestamp as well as a cost. And you will see that in the rest of the presentation. So what I'm going to do here forward is talk about some of the differences between booking and scheduling and why we built FittleBug the way we did, down to the minute. So I'm going to show you some of the enhancements that we have. But first of all, booking means done. Scheduling means you're going to get a call and play telephone tag. So that's not exactly really efficient as far as the sales cycle. FittleBug does sync through an API relationship with Service Monster. So if anybody has Service Monster out there, it works as an API. So when somebody books, like if they booked right now online, all the data would go over to Service Monster instantly and populate their program and block their schedule on their end. So it's a mirror image. When consumers are looking at your availability down to the minute, they're actually looking at another version of a mirrored Service Monster. So we have an API relationship with Service Monster. We also have a relationship through Google, Google Calendars, so that we can sync calendars, but not data. So we've been syncing for a lot of clients, calendars, Chandler being one of them. Chandler started out with House Call Pro, and we used Google Calendars to sync to and from FittleBug. But House Call Pro does not sync both ways. So what happens is the data would ultimately have to be put in at a different time, but the calendars would always be up to date, and you would never be double booked. We've started some things called pop-up boxes or info boxes, which allows you to put next to items you're displaying of your services so they can get a better idea. It could be a video of you showing how to use the claw and get urine extraction out. It could be a before and after picture, or text, or any HTML link. We've got a drip email program. You can set the trucks that you have, by the way. This is a program that works great whether you have one truck, or I think my largest is 12 in California, so they're running 12 trucks. And you can set the hours, and everything in our program is scheduled around the zip code. So it's customizable. You can customize the travel and setup times by each zip code. So the farther ones away, you're going to want to have a larger travel time than the closer zip codes. We built things called distance incentive tools that tells people you're in the area, and if there's a time before or after an existing appointment, they can see that you're in the area, and you can offer them a discount to choose that. We built the opposite. It's called distance deny. So if you're in a state like Wyoming or a very large area, and you don't want to travel between any one or two appointments farther than 20 miles, say, and somebody logs in with a zip code that is greater than 20 miles, and then it's compared against all your existing appointments, even if there's time before or after it, you can block it. So you're not zigzagging like a star across your marketplace. These are some of the unique features that we have that I don't see out there in the marketplace. What FittleBug is not, it is not an aggregating search engine. It is not like a Home Advisor or a Porch or an Angie's List. FittleBug is yours. It's just for you, and there's no selling of the leads. So people go to Home Advisor or Yelp or Porch trying to find a service providers, and then they sell that lead to 2 or 3 other people. This is your instance of FittleBug and yours alone. Okay, it's not a divining rod for pulling out clients out of the internet. You still have to tell them it exists. If you don't tell them it exists, it's the greatest billboard in the middle of the desert. You're not going to be able to just say, now I got FittleBug, all the clients are going to come to me. But I'm telling you, once they do, they will keep coming if you provide a good service, because they find it to be very empowering, being able to book in a matter of seconds without talking to anybody. It's not something you want if you have all the clients you ever want, because it will bring you additional clients. So that's something. What FittleBug is an asset of your company, just like a truck or a wand. If you don't tell people it exists, it's worthless. Greatest billboard in the middle of a desert. It's more than just a scheduling assistance tool, because we built all kinds of functionality, like a one-click social media referral tracking tool inside FittleBug. So if Jane Smith loves your services, tell Jane to go log into her account in FittleBug, click the Facebook button, and a pre-programmed message from you will pop up, and she just posts it to her wall. Her friends see it, and when they click on it, it gives them a X% off, 10% or whatever you want to give all her friends. And all she did was click one button. All the friend of Jane's did is save 10%, and you got a new client, all tracked within FittleBug. And we can get to that if you want. But it is the most cost-effective employee you'll ever be able to hire. Now, what do I mean by that? FittleBug works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, telling people what you do, what your fees are, how long things take, when you're free, and when you're in the area. It takes the order. It processes the order through a deposit if you require. Some people require a deposit. Some people choose not to require a deposit. It sends the confirmation. It follows up to remind them later that they're coming out on this day. And then you can set it up to later ask for reviews. FittleBug never asks for a raise and doesn't require health insurance. And if you can get anybody to work for $200 a month and do all that for 24/7, never take a break, then you've got the best employee ever. But for $200 a month, it's hiring an employee to do all these things. Chances are you're never going to be able to find one. It's just not going to happen. So let's get into a couple of the functionalities. This is one called distance incentive, and it works like this. If this is your office and this is your marketplace, and A is an existing job that you already have on the books, and B is somebody looking at you online, that's where if you're within a certain distance, you can offer them a discount. And the logic there is you don't have to travel from here to here to here to here to here and then back to here again. They know you're in the area, and for an extra 5% off or whatever you want to give them that you think is the incentive, it'll save you not only gas but labor time as well. And here's what it looks like. When somebody clicks schedule to see like, for example, this appointment duration of what they wanted was 40 minutes. So if you start your day at 9 o'clock, 40 minutes would be 9:40. Well, why does it end at 10:10? The answer is you got to get to the next appointment. So that's where they tagged on travel time, depending upon the zip code they logged in with, will be added on. These will be the times when they're booked, and these are the times when they're free. And the green option says we're in your area. If you schedule that, we'll give you a 10% off or whatever you want to give them. And they see those and they will start booking themselves wherever you are. Okay. There's also other things. I think I'm going to skip through this as far as the incentive, these two here. But I did want to share this with you. I know a lot of you guys have House Call Pro, and I think House Call Pro is a great CRM program, at least as far as I can tell. I'm not an authority on them. But from a popularity standpoint, they do very well. And I know Chandler used to use them. He switched over to a Service Monster. But I think for a lot of the reasons, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Chandler, but I think a lot of the reason was you wanted the API, the full data transfer over from FittleBug. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to simplify everything with my daily scheduling. And by doing that, I said, well, House Call Pro is wonderful. One reason why I was with them for a long time, but they wasn't going to be an API. So I tying the schedule together was going to be, it was most important to me.
But
Jeremy,
yeah, go ahead.
Jeremy Parr has a question.
Yeah.
He says, I'm a pure owner operator and there are wide variances from job to job. What happens if someone schedules and I can't make it?
You call them.
Yeah.
You call them. What do you do now? You call them and you say, I can't make that. I'm running a little late. The wet, snowy, we had a flat tire, whatever you want to say. But there's no difference between whether it was a call in or booked online. On that day, which you don't know if it's going to snow or not a week or two ahead on the particular day, if you're running behind, you're running behind. But if you're blocking a 2-hour window And the first job is a 2-hour window, and it's taking you 5 hours. That's the problem with blocks of time. If you would have known that the job was going to take you 5 hours because they told you when they booked their FittleBug order that you're going to be in their house for like 4 hours and 21 minutes or whatever it added up to be, then they know that you're free after that, and you don't see that as much. Now, obviously, there's all kind, it rains, it snows, people get sick, and all kinds of stuff. But how do you squeeze in a 2-hour window, a 6-hour job? You're pissing off somebody. It's either the one before or after that appointment, and that causes ill will. That's why I'm saying it's not an efficient method to have a web form. I mean, I've had conversations with Roland at House Call Pro about this. He admits it, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have a good program. He has a good program, but they don't offer anything in real time. Well,
Steve, I don't think they, okay, so I think what Jeremy's saying, so guys, when they book online through FittleBug, and it goes right to your calendar, it goes right into your CRM, if your CRM is eligible for that. So if it's 4 rooms of carpet cleaning and you put into your system that it takes you 15 minutes per room, so now you're looking at about an hour and 15-minute job.
Yeah, plus travel time.
Plus travel time.
And FittleBug factors all that in. That's the difference.
And FittleBug factors all that in. So if it goes on your schedule and you had that time open, you should be able to make that work, unless something comes up and you call the client. Now, Stan also asked, he does air ducts, and it takes anywhere from 3 to 5 hours.
Yeah.
So he cannot make it work to the minute. I just told him that he can, if this is correct, he can adjust that time however he wants.
Yeah, that's the flexibility. I have a client, a duct cleaning specialist in Ontario, Canada. When he started with FittleBug, that's all he does is duct cleaning. When he started with FittleBug, it's exactly the scenario. He has 3.5 and 4.5 hour jobs, depending upon what you chose. And at that time, he was running 2 or 3 trucks. And his first 2 months, I'm not kidding you, 80, I think it was 88, or it might have just been 80, but it was in the 80s, 80 new clients in 2 months for air duct cleaning when people could book themselves. So he paid me a very small amount and made $44,000 in his first 2 months, just letting people book themselves air duct cleaning in Canada. And we'll get into that kind of stuff. But the answer is you determine how long things take. If air duct, 2-story home takes 4.5 hours, then that's the amount of time you allocate, so that they're always looking at only real-time availability.
Okay. Steve, does it sync, John Wilder, does it sync with Apple Calendar?
No, it does not. I wish a tool called ServiceMate out of Australia, kind of a cool program, kind of laid out like House Call Pro, very slick and everything, but they choose not to build a mobile platform for anything other than Apple platform. Well, that's just crazy. Well, I know why they don't, because Apple seeded them. Apple gave them the money to build the product. So why would they want to create the competition? So I'm going to move forward, but before I do, I wanted to answer this question. If you have House Call Pro, does it work well together so that the calendars are constantly in sync? And that's what Kaylee said from a company out in Cary, North Carolina called Carpet Pro Cleaners. She said, we've been using FittleBug for 7 years. We booked 188,000 in 2019. And she's running 3 vans, okay? And each van has to be synced up to a unique calendar in Google Calendar. So when House Call pushes out the Google Calendar, they push it into one pipe. So whether it was van 1, 2, or 3 got pushed into one pipe. Well, what we built is to read the code of the name of the first string in the command as van 1 or van 2 or van 3, and then we take it and drop it in the bucket of van 1, van 2, van 3 in FittleBug. So it works brilliantly that way. But she just sent a testimonial on, yeah, absolutely it can work. And they made 188,000 worth of online bookings last year. Okay. And this is just something I got on. I don't know. I don't, like I said, I don't want to bet. House Call Pro is a great program, but their booking tool, from what I've talked to with others, and I just wanted to confirm this online, is a web form. And I said, can you tell me if it's real time? And then they answered, I called myself Tommy. Hey, Tommy, nice to meet you. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Your question is, it's block. So to answer your question, it's blocks of time. It will not automatically figure out how long a job is. So that right then and there, you know, there's a differentiating value proposition between their online and FittleBug. And it's kind of like this. When House Call pushes all these trucks 1, 2, 3, and 4 to the Google Calendar, they all come out as one, and then we take and we wrote the code to differentiate which that this 2 should go in here, this 3 calendar and House Call Pro should go in here, and so forth. So that's what they're using, and it works pretty good. Now, I wanted you to see something, how things are laid out in the order confirmation, or what we call notifications, or you might think of as a drip email program. This is actually, and I blocked out, Chandler, all the relative information that would be proprietary, but I wanted to show people how it gets laid out. Basically, it automatically fires out a confirmation once they choose. And so this job is going to go on the 1st from 8 to 11:30, and they wanted 3 200 square foot rooms cleaned, and they wanted tile and grout, 100 square feet of that. It's per 50 square feet is the way Chandler has it set up. And then they also had a sectional sofa. So they're doing 3 different types of services all in one order. And the largest order I've ever seen is $1,500 in Canada at 2:30 in the morning. So you never know when people are thinking about, you know, your services. But there is one thing I can tell you guys. You know, everybody prides themselves, and that's fine. It's great. I mean, you got to brand your company, you know, with cool wraps and stuff like that. But what good is a beautifully wrapped van if there's nowhere to go? If all you're doing is putting it in the garage because you don't have anybody to go see. Now, I know you guys, a lot of you guys are not like that, but the reality of the matter is, if you don't know how to market your own company, and you don't know how to do it on the internet, and you don't know how to empower clients to be able to utilize the internet better for you and them, then, you know, this becomes a liability, and the wrap becomes a liability as well. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick little break here, and I'm going to
Steve, while you're doing that, I want to just so Will Houston or Houston, I'm sorry, Will, if whatever was correct. This is a booking tool. No, it's a scheduling tool, not booking blocks of time. And does it also bring new customers? No, he might have came in later, but no, it does not bring in new customers. It's not like a lead generation, but it's a scheduling, a real-time scheduling app. It doesn't book blocks of time, but it schedules it down to the minute. And Daryl,
it's not an aggregate. Let me interrupt. It's not an aggregating search engine where you're getting 3 companies are getting the same lead and the fastest one gets there. It's saying to Digital Mom, here's when we're available down to the minute. Here's our cost to do exactly what you want us to do. And here's where we're free. Pick one. That's what it does. So does it bring new clients? Hell yes. But it's your client. It's not being shared with anybody else.
Well, Will, let me give my experience with that. Will, when a client goes to your website, okay, and I would assume that most of us have a website, you're more than likely that client who is searching or seeking, who definitely wants to use you, is a good chance that they're going to book online. And when they book online, they're going to book a lot more than that they will on the phone with you. So that's what's most powerful about it. And then Steve, Daryl, Wesley, can you explain to them what an API is?
Sure.
And that'll answer their questions about other CRMs. So
okay, so if anybody can still see me, I'm going to show you what an API is. It's bridging data to the proper bucket. You know, what goes where. And so here's the way it typically would work. Somebody goes to Chandler's website, they click the book now and be done button, it goes over to his FittleBug application. The consumer puts in their zip code and to see if he even services it. Right there, it's different than House Call Pro, because House Call Pro uses a radius. And if you did a radius, they're allowing any of those zip codes in there. Well, what if it's a bad part of town you don't want to go to? You don't have the ability to allocate or take that zip code out. It's more of a radius approach. And that's okay. It's just not, it's not as drilled down. But a consumer will put in a zip code, and if it's not a zip code that you service, it'll say, I'm sorry, we don't service that zip code. If it is a zip code that you service, it will let that person in. Oops. Hang on one sec. It'll let that person in if it's in the database. And then you will have listed all the services that you provide. Now, if they go in and say, okay, I want 3 rooms that you call 250 square feet, and we'll get into, you can call these things whatever you want, guys. You want to call it 100 square feet, you want to call it per square foot, you want to call it bronze, silver, gold package, no problem. You can customize it. But let me just answer the question. Let's say they have 3 rooms. So that would be $120. And let's say they wanted 2 of them with stain protector, and they wanted 1 with pet urine removal. So now we're up to $181. So once they click schedule, it'll go out and compare against the Service Monster / FittleBug calendar that are identical and say, here's where we're not free, here's where we are free, you can book any of these times. And then they will go through the process to fill out the service information so you know where they're going. They'll create an account. So now you have their username, you have their email, and the address of which you're going. And then if you collect the deposit, boom. Once they go through the checkout, whether you collect or not, then all that data goes over to Service Monster instantly through the internet, and it says, knock, knock, this email, Jane Schwartz L @gmail.com. Is that email in the database of Service Monster? If it is, it places that order in that account because not too many people have more than 1 email. If it doesn't match, it says, does the first name, last name, city, and state identically, all 4, match anything in the database of Service Monster? If it does, it puts it in there. If it doesn't, it creates an account, a new account in Service Monster, places that new online order in there and on the calendar. So constantly the calendars are synced, and you didn't do a damn thing. The API allows all the data to become the consumer literally becomes your administrator. So you do nothing but wake up and realize you got new jobs, and you don't even have to put them into Service Monster. Unlike the house call approach, the calendars would be in sync in my scenario I just did, but then you would have to put Mary Jane 123 Main Street in the program. That's really the only difference. It's an administrator, a slight administrator there. But I don't think they're ever going to want to play with FittleBug for some reason. But I know a lot of people wish they would.
Oh, also, Steve, let them know that Steve asked a good question, Steve Shotwell. So it will sync with Google Calendar, but not the data. Yes, the data will be in the calendar, and you'll also receive an email from FittleBug with all of the data too. So it'll be in 2 different places if you wanted to move it to your CRM from that point.
Correct. Yeah, you're always going to get notified. Or you could have a notification emailed to somebody else in your office if you want to. But if you have an API, it's already there. So you're just getting notified. All right. So as you can see, this is something I created called Cleaners Connect. This is an instance of FittleBug. And by the way, I can get an instance of FittleBug up in about 10 minutes. And another 15 minutes, I could probably brand it with your look and feel and so forth and get you the keys in your hand. So it's not a long process to get people going. But this is the general look and feel that once they log in, it lets them in to see all the services. Now, on the right-hand side here, you can put whatever you want. Some people put reviews, a widget, like this is a Sotellus. So if they wanted to hear reviews while they're considering your services, they could just click play.
Chandler Thompson here with Classic Care Services. I signed up with FittleBug, the live scheduling app.
So they can just hear about somebody that just serviced you, or go through and listen to others. By the way, that's the guy in Canada. So you could put text over here. You could put a video other than a LinkedIn widget, anything you want, HTML over here. And then what I do with you is I will take a look at your services and I will copy over a template that closely matches what you do. So if you only do air ducts and dry vent cleaning or something like that, I will just copy over those categories and we will start from there. But the whole concept is, if I can copy over somewhat close, then we're saving about 90% of the data that's necessary to input. So these items right here are what we call subcategories. You can have as many as you want. You can call them what you want. But the key to the internet and booking is simplicity. Err on simplicity. If they're confused on what to push because they don't understand it, they're going another direction, which is why we put in these info boxes so that if you hover over them, you can show them an example. Anybody recognize that? Anybody in there? Anybody named Anderson? So I pulled in the Anderson Brothers video just to show you that it can be embedded right in there. So if you want to show them how you do your carpet cleaning, your tile and grout, your urine extraction, whatever, you can have info boxes at the category, at the subcategory level, and then also on the service level. So at the 3 stages of the sales cycle, what do you do? What are my options? And what's it cost? There's always a box that they can click on to get more information. Because remember, they're not talking to you. So you want to let them know some of the more important information on carpet repair. You want to let them know about upholstery cleaning, what makes you different, and so forth. So, and spotter. If you sell product, you can show them, what the product looks like, because you can sell product through your FittleBug. Okay. So again, a consumer will just go in and choose what it is they want. And again, I'm just going to pick some things. Let's say I want a carpet stretching. A large.
Steve, while you doing that, real quick, someone asking, he's running 2 different businesses. Would it be able to have one service split into 2, or would you have to pay twice?
No, you could have 2. I got one guy in Kentucky. He's a window cleaning and window cleaner and carpet cleaner. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. So he leaves them a little note that says, we use different trucks for different services, but if you use the same truck for both services, you would not need this, but he doesn't. So he's got his window options, his packages, he's got his a la cartes. He shows them what the hell a double hung really looks like so that they'll know, or what a casement is so that they'll be able to say, oh yeah, that's what I got, that's what I need. And then he's got the gutter cleaning down here. He's got so he's got all the carpet stuff, the house washing, the pressure washing, the wood, all the services. You could have as many services as you want and still pay the same flat fee, and get as many clients as you want and still pay the same flat fee. So I hope that answered the question. So let's just say I wanted that done. And again, you can call the services, whatever you want to call them. Okay. So then I'll click schedule now to see when they're available. If this week doesn't work, you can click next week and so forth, or you can go straight to the date that you want. And then just click continue. And then this is where, if they're the first time they've ever used it, they would click register. And this is where they're creating their email, which is their username, and their password, which you will never know, but only they will. But if they've used it before, then all they have to do is log back in. And when they log back, oops, let me try that again. Hold on. I did it backwards.
And Steve, John Wilder, I mean, he's excited. And Jason said he definitely needs to support it. You're only 30 minutes away from him. And John Wilder said, my online booking looks old and just not simplified. 95% of the time, I don't even get notifications. it's time to change. You'll get notification every time, John.
Well, yeah, we're about to get to the cool stuff. This is just the consumer side. So a consumer could have multiple addresses. Any of you guys do property management and you work with property managers? They could all have their property managers locations in here and work with you. And then what we do is it's called a super user. Only property managers, when they log in, can see the services of property managers. So the public doesn't see it. And because you've negotiated the pricing with property managers, we zero out the pricing and allocate the time, and they just go in and say it goes to that address and the billing's the same, or no, bill it to that address. And then it says, okay, you're almost done. This is what you want us to do. You want us to come out between 8 and 10 because that's how long it takes to do this stuff. I'm going to collect the 10% deposit and then I'm going to leave a note. And now once I click submit, if I'm collecting a deposit, which this is in a fake mode, so I can put whatever I want in there, and it'll assume.
And guys, this is how I collect my deposits online. It's through FittleBug.
Yeah, everybody always asks, what's the proper, how are we doing on time here? Oh, we're good. They always ask, what's the, what should I collect? And I always say, I have guys that do 10% of the order. I have guys that do $50 flat. I have guys that do 30, and I've got guys that do 150. So it really depends on how much you need to get. If they're going to take your ass offline, if you will, and block out your time for somebody else that would want to book you, it's going to hurt if they cancel on you. But I would say 30 to 50 bucks is an average that nobody has a problem with. So then once they fill out this information and click submit, it'll go out, and we use Stripe to collect the deposits. So you need a free Stripe account. And then once it says it's a good credit card, boom, it comes back and it says done. Here's your order confirmation. By the way, this is the one-click social media tool. Just click here, tell your friends about us, and earn money off your next order. All automatically. You guys don't do anything. They don't do anything but click one button. And now this particular order is now in the form of an email. And this got sent out not only to the consumer, but also to like one of the Anderson brothers, or maybe Jane at AndersonBrothersCarpetCleaning.com, who's in the office and she needs to get a copy. You can even have it sent to the person on the truck if you want to. And then the order notes. Now all this data right here, all this data actually from here, if you had Service Monster and the notes, would all go over to Service Monster. So literally, if I'm the consumer putting all this in, I am now working for you and completing my own order. Just like I figured out how to pump my own gas, just like I figured out how to book my own airline. I can now book your time on my time anytime it's convenient. And man, let me tell you, there's some weird times you see bookings. You never know when people are thinking of you.
And so now, Steve, I'll share my experience because somebody's asking. So when I was House Call Pro, guys, it would go to my Google Calendar. So I would get an email that I got somebody who just booked, and then the data would go to my Google Calendar. And so what I would do in House Call, I immediately go put it in House Call. But sometimes I would just block that time out in House Call and put it in later. But I had that order in my Google Calendar.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing, so you don't get double booked. But here's an example of the email that got fired out. Since I was the person that logged in.
This is what you'll see online, guys, come right to your phone.
Yeah. And it also goes to the consumer and so forth. Now let's quickly look at the back end, because I know we're running a little bit late here. And there's a lot that I can go through, and I'm more than willing to, but I also want to commit, not to keeping you up too late at night.
Could you answer one question that most people are going to have? Can you answer a question about arrival times? Stan
Sure.
Still, he does duct work, and he wants to know, do you have to put a specific time, or can you put arrival time because he gives 2 hours?
I have people that do that put arrival times. Let me think here. Yeah, you can put arrival. As a matter of fact, the place you put it, hang on, let me show you. I can't remember the client that is doing it. I was going to show you. You would put the arrival times right here. That says we're sharing with you how long things are going to take, but we need a window of time. The first job between here and here, second job between here and here, and we will keep you abreast. Here's it, just letting people know something they already know, which is it snows in Chicago. People run late, but if I'm only forced to take an hour and a half off of work, or 2 hours off of work, as opposed to sit around for the whole day and wait for you, I like you better. So you can put it here. You can put it in a lot of places. This is the back end of the program. This is called the admin side. And this is actually the order that I just created. So this is on the FittleBug calendar. Now, for those of you who have Service Monster, I'll quickly show you what it looks like. Whoops, that's yours. I'll quickly show you how it went over, because this is my fake trial account for FittleBug. So if we go to the orders, all the orders, there it is right there. Order 5565. Carpet cleaning, stretching. And then if we look at the calendar, you'll see that it was blocked off there as well. So boom, you did nothing. And it put it in Service Monster and it created. If I were to drag this job to down here or over to here, then within seconds, it would reflect within FittleBug. So I tell people once they get FittleBug, if they have Service Monster, once they get FittleBug set up the way they want, don't do much with it. Just let it run on top of Service Monster. Do everything you continue to do in Service Monster. For that matter, it's the same with House Call Pro. You don't have to change the way you do House Call Pro. You don't have to change the way you do Service Monster. FittleBug is just going to feed it with jobs and opportunity. Right? So on the back end, you can have as many trucks as you want. I'm only showing one as designated in blue, but you could have other trucks. We then go in and we put the zip codes in that you service. So you might recognize some of these, Mr. Anderson. You might even service some of them. This is where you can allocate travel times. You'll notice some of them have 45, some of them have 30. If I want to change that at all, I can go in and say, oh no, that's more like an hour and let's call it 9 minutes. So now that zip code is going to take an hour and 9 minutes to get to. We have hidden charges. No person in America likes to be thought of as the bastard stepchild when they're getting your pricing over the phone, or, you know, they're going, man, that's high. And the reason it's high is because they live so far away that you want to get more money to go to it. And so the odds are you could lose that account. Well, we built what's called hidden charges. So what that does is it says when somebody logs in with this zip code, or any zip code we apply it to, and it could be one or none, all or none rather, you can apply a hidden charge, which means when they log in with that zip code, it's going to take and add another $50 to the order. So if they purchased one thing, a $350 air duct job, for them it shows up $400. And that's the charge. It doesn't say it's a travel charge, a gas surcharge, you live too damn far charge, or your ugly charge. It just says that's the cost, $400. You want it or not? And the other option would be if they chose like 5 items, each item would be increased $10. So all you're doing is dividing the hidden charge needed to go to that zip code and not insulting the client. The other option is to just say, we're not going to do it that way. We're just going to increase the minimum. Let's say your minimum on a service provider is currently set to $125. And these are the hours that they work. But let's say it's $125 normally. And all of a sudden, this is a very far away zip code, like Arlington Heights or whatever. I need to get an extra $50. So now the minimum that they have to order is 125 plus 50 or 175, or you're not going out the door. And you can make these whatever you want. If you have taxes, it applies to taxes. Schedule incentive is the proximity tool that says we're in your neighborhood. You can make them all true, or you can make only some of them true. Then you can apply, you can say what zip codes, and by the way, guys, I help you do all this. Get it in so that you can get up faster. What zip codes service what trucks? So if this zip code services Michael, but truck 2 is available for carryover, so now 2 trucks would be able to take 8 a.m. in the morning if both were available. So you can assign it to 1 truck, 2 trucks, or all trucks, or 3 trucks, or whatever. That's up to you. So that is the way the zip codes are so important in our program. And what we do, and I have a tool, we'll just bulk them in at time of training. Then from there, you go in and say what you do. Carpet cleaning, blah, 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 blah. How you want them displayed. You can change the minimum for your, if it's 125 normally, you can change it that when they choose air duct cleaning, it goes from 125 to 300. Even though they might want air ducts and carpet, the minimum jumps to at least you're getting 300 now. And again, you can assign what trucks do what. If they all do all of this, then all trucks are available. But if air duct cleaning is only available to truck 2, because that's the only one that has the equipment, then when the display shows for air duct cleaning, it's only going to see truck 2. From that point, you can go in and give them choices to choose, like 1,500 square foot to 2,500. Again, you can call these things anything you want by editing them. And then you can go in and say what services you attach to them. Like inspection assessment costs $125, takes 30 minutes. Air duct cleaning, we charge $400, takes an hour and 30 minutes. If you need to change that, change it. Okay. So each service, no matter whether it's air duct cleaning or whatever, has its own unique cost and timestamp. So if we go back over here to carpet cleaning, which would be more realistic for you guys, and look at 250 square feet, what do you do to it? You clean it, 40 bucks, 15 minutes. And these may be wrong because I'm not a carpet cleaner. Stain protector, 18 bucks and so forth. So it adds up all the times and says, ma'am, we're going to be in your house for 2 hours and 11 minutes. Here's where we're free for 2 hours and 11 minutes. Here's where we're not. Choose one that works for you. Put down the deposit, go to bed. Done. Fires out information, emails to everybody, and she's done. It's booked like an airline ticket, not completed like a web form. And then you can go in and attach whatever services you want to create. So if you wanted to create bleach stain repair, 4x4, you can add that as a service. And let's say that takes 1 hour and 15 minutes and you charge $99, and we'll make it active and click save. So now we go back over here, log into the consumer side. We choose that, and we've got bleach stain patch 4x4. That's how easy it is to change or alter along the way. You don't need me, I'm here, but you really don't need me to update your pricing and timestamps, categories. But again, I'm here to help if you need. So very quickly, that's that. This is the Save a Friend effort program where you can determine what you want to give the friend that's receiving the notification, or the friend rather that, that is receiving the Facebook notification. What do you want to give the person in rewards who sent the Facebook notification to her wall so her friends could become clients and so forth? So you can set all that. Then we got promotions. You could have dollar amounts. Let me just show you here. You could have entire order, dollar amounts, percentages, fixed amount off or percentage off. You can bundle packages. 3 rooms in a hallway and get a free lazy boy. You can provide promotions only for a certain category, only for air duct cleaning or only for dryer vent cleaning, but they won't get a discount on anything else. You can even drop it down to the subcategory level, only 2,500 square foot homes, And then you can drop it down to the service level. Only people that choose probiotic sanitizer for their carpet cleaning. So it's very sophisticated on what you can use. And then you can also say, this particular code is just a code that I gave you guys so that when they put in cleaners, you know, whatever it is that they put in. I'm sorry. Where am I here? Oh, that's the amount. Promo code. Whatever it is you call the promo code, it can maybe only be used once, or maybe you want everybody to use it, or maybe you want to use it as a call to action and say, hurry up, folks, only the first 5 people get it. And then once it hits 5, the 6th won't get it until you go back in and reset it. And now it's back to 0 again. So, all right. You can have it override your minimum, not override your minimum, et cetera, and then go away automatically on a certain day. So if you wanted it to end on the 31st, done. So that's the promotion area. Notifications, that's what we've been looking at, order notifications, but you could just as easily set one up to remind them. If you do use Service Monster or House Call Pro, they have features like this already. Some people find ours easier to use, but we at this point do not use text. I'm sure we might look at that in the future, but right now it's not as important to us. So you can set up drip emails to go out whenever you want for whatever purpose. So if I wanted to create a new one and have it sent out 6 months from when they created the account in FittleBug, and only go to the user, and you want to say, gosh, it's been 6 months, we really appreciate it, blah, blah, blah. And you can have pictures. You can do anything. It's called a WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. You can drop in pictures wherever you want, and then save it. And then this will automatically, for every person that creates an account, 6 months later, drop this one out. Now, normally what you use them for are like reminders and then also follow-ups. So how'd we do? Click here and link them right over customer review or so tell us, or your Facebook reviews and so forth. You can control a lot of the language in FittleBug. If you don't like what it's saying, change it. In the area where you could select, it just says select a category on the left, then choose one of the options, choose the quantity, blah, blah. So that's what was showing right here. If you don't like the language, you have the ability to change it yourself. And it'll display your orders. You can review your orders at a different time. And then it says a small report, but a lot of the reports you're going to get are going to be if you have Service Monster or others. And then this is how you connect it up to Service Monster. You just map truck 1 to whatever provider in FittleBug that you want to associate it with. That is a very quick, I went 5 minutes over. Now I'm going to stop and answer any questions.
Does it sync with QuickBooks? That was Clyde Alexander.
No. And the reason we don't yet is because if you're that sophisticated, you probably have a contact management software that does. So the data goes there first. Why not just let it sync there? Because that's more, this is not a CMS program. A lot of people can use it, quasi that, but it's not going to do what a House Call or a Marquette or those are. What FittleBug does is sits on top of those programs, if you will, and feeds those programs with live new clients. Okay, it's a tool. It's a marketing tool with marketing booking tool with marketing functionality.
Is Service Monster the only CRM that it links to?
That we have an API with.
API.
If like House Call, they sync out to Google Calendars, so we can go grab that data and pull it into FittleBug. So really, Google Calendars becomes the intermediary between the two programs to make sure both programs' calendars are synced.
So guys, you can sync House Call Pro and Marquette through Google Calendar.
Yeah, well, if Marquette syncs any program that syncs out, Customer Factor, any program that syncs out with Google, we can sync into. Well, I shouldn't say any, but most.
Stan had asked, and I told him yes, but he said, what if they're okay with the minimum charge, but it's just one room? One room is $50. The minimum charge is $110. But again, they're okay with the $110.
I see that.
Yes,
Stan, I
yes,
see that all day long.
yeah, they'll book it.
I see it all day long. I see guys consumers that book, $60, $70 worth of orders and pay $150 minimum. And just do it because of the convenience factor.
Vernon Swain asked, can this be added to Google My Business?
Absolutely, and it should be. They have a tool on Google My Business where you can go in and choose the button that you want, and you would want to make yours say the book here, and then make the link right over to FittleBug. You can do that with Facebook too.
I've done that with Facebook and Google My Business, guys. I've linked it to my online scheduling.
And again, these are the types of things that if that's what they want, I can help them with some of that because I know how to do it. Here's the thing. I'm never going to be, I don't want to be your marketer. I'm not going to spend my money or FittleBug's money that we generate to market your business. That's your job. But if you tell people that they are now empowered to work with you on their time, anytime they want, they will. And once they do it, they realize how efficient it is, and they keep doing it again and again and again. Am I telling the truth, Chandler?
Yes.
You see a lot of repeat orders from people that used it last year on FittleBug.
Oh yeah, one of my customers booked today. Early this morning. She always book online. She calls us about every 3 months, and she book about every 3 months. I got many customers that they just go book right online without even calling. Just repeat customers, yeah. Okay, so Jeremy says, I am so old-fashioned, I use an appointment book. Oh my goodness. Never use any computer calendar ever. Forgive my ignorance, but to do this is basically have to switch to all electric calendar. I guess, online calendars.
I'd tell Jimmy I'd start with a sharpened number 2 and then migrate to electronics. But it's the reality. I mean, that's why I'm saying this program is not for everybody. If you don't want more business, then don't get it, because it's not. If you don't want it, or you're not willing to tell people that you have it, you don't want to get it. Please don't get it, because you'll hate me. It'll be worthless. But if you understand how to tell people about your services by posting things online to your website, to Facebook, and here's the best one. Let's say, for example, I'm a consumer calling up Chandler's business, and I hear this. Hi, this is Chandler. Thanks for calling. Did you know you can now book yourself with our real-time scheduling tool on our site, blah, 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 blah.com, or you can leave a click, and that's what they'll do. So often the best form of marketing is just changing your voicemail. You really don't have to spend any more money. You have to change your message. Instead of saying, call this number, say, click this button, book it and be done. We use real-time scheduling, or call this number. So it's just a change of the message for a lot of people.
Okay, so can you turn the mic on for Stan? Because Stan has...
that's a good question.
Because he's asking, and mainly about the time. I think he's concerned about the time, or scheduling the time.
Well, okay. Let me see here. That's a good question. Participants. Okay, there it is. Stan Bella. Okay, that one, yeah. Stan? You should be able to talk.
Stan, go ahead. He says do not have a mic. Oh,
well, it's a little hard to talk then.
Yeah. But you can see what he's saying there, right?
Okay, hang on. Let me
yeah.
A little skeptical. I mean, all jobs are different. Absolutely. Absolutely all jobs are different. But is it better to have an idea and a close idea because they're telling you what they want, then go out there and spend the money and the time to discover what they want and then have to go back because they're busy or because they don't want you to do the job right now because they didn't.
Oh, there he is.
What?
Is that Stan? Somebody came in. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry, Steve.
So, I mean, listen, nothing's different if they called up on the phone and said, I got a wine stain. And you say, well, how big is it? And they say, well, it's the size of a softball. And you say, okay, well, based on that, we're probably going to be charging X, Y, or Z. And then you go out there and the damn thing's the size of a stop sign. So what do? It's the same thing. Women always think things are bigger than or smaller than other things. But women are your marketplace. I have not in 10 years had a client call me or tell me that it's not either damn near exact the time or within a reasonable allocated amount of time. Remember, you're putting in the numbers. So if you say it takes 3.5 hours to do a job, that's what it takes. You can even say, here's a picture of an incredibly dirty carpet. Here's a picture of a traffic lane, moderately, and just give them options to choose. So, you're the one pricing it. You're the one putting the timestamps, and it's never going to be a perfect science, Stan. But the bottom line is, do you want the client or not? Would it be better to go out there and be a little off, or would it better to be not get the client and force them to call and play telephone tag and potentially lose the job? When you've got their attention, when the dog's head is going like this, oh my God, I can do this now, that's when you hand the person the pen. That's when you give them the opportunity to book themselves. It's an old sales trick. Here's the pen. So, and that's what FittleBug does. It empowers them to know everything they need to know, that's a bold statement. Almost everything they need to know about your services and how long you're going to be in their house and when you're free and when you're not and what you charge and so forth. And they can even watch videos of how you do your service. Yeah, me too. Jeremy. There is a lot, guys. That's a great point. And that's why I said a little earlier, err on simplicity. I try to keep it simple. I try to do the majority of the work for you. What I cannot do for you is price things. I cannot I cannot put the timestamps in. That's stuff you have to do yourself. A lot of clients tell me when we go through that process, which could take an hour to get set up, which for an hour's worth of time ain't a lot of time to invest in a marketplace that's 93% wants or kind of wants you to have an online presence. Then that's the stuff I don't know about your business. What plays in Phoenix doesn't play in Gary, Indiana. They call them different things, they price them differently and so forth. So I can get about 90% of the way, but then we're going to go through training. And we're going to have 2 sessions. One's going to be an hour and a half. Another one's going to be about a half hour. So allocate 2 hours of your life to get your FittleBug program up and then go out and do your work and just let it collect. But then the hard part starts, guys. Then it's marketing. Again, if you don't tell anybody, it's worthless. If you do tell people, they will use it over and over and over. And I've got a bunch of ideas, but it's your business. You're the one that has to put it on your website and so forth. If you need help doing that, I have people that can help you, but that's not something I do. Sean Moon, is that it? Why is Sean up there? Did Sean have a question?
Well, I don't.
Unmute. I don't know why his name's up there. What else we got?
Any more questions, guys?
Oh, we got a Q&A. I'm a pure owner. There are wide branches of jobs. What happens to them? Okay. Oh, that's the one I already read.
Can you block a customer from booking online? You see that on the Q&A?
Yeah, actually, yeah, you can. You can go in and just take their information out of the program. Then they could always re-sign up again. But can we block, because they could sign up as another person, another email, another telephone number. So there's no real way to stop that, but you can take them out of the program from what
now if they're worried about competitors booking and messing with your schedule, all you gotta do is put a deposit on their name.
Absolutely, guys.
Things that
Put a
are
deposit.
that's what we have, those issues in Atlanta, and a lot of scamsters in Atlanta. So I put a deposit on there, so I don't have any problems with it at all.
Yeah.